I never imagined marriage would feel like this. Not every night needs fireworks. Sure, I knew life would get busy. Work, bills, the endless grind. But nothing prepares you for love fading into silence. I'm Ethan, 42, and I was married to Claire for 13 years. Or maybe I should say, I was married. Even saying that feels strange. When I first met Claire, she was magnetic, vibrant, endlessly curious, laughing like the world was her playground. I wasn't the loudest guy around, but I had my life in order. Owning my construction business, paying my bills, keeping my promises. Claire told me she liked that about me, said I felt solid. For the first several years, we were inseparable, physically and emotionally. Late night movies, weekend road trips, teasing texts during the day. We had a spark that felt unstoppable. But somewhere around year 6, something shifted. She stopped laughing at my jokes, not because they weren't funny, but because she wasn't really listening. She'd come home from work, tired, collapse on the couch scrolling through her phone. I'd sneak up to kiss her neck, and she'd flinch, like my presence was a nuisance. At first, I rationalized it. Stress, long hours at the school where she taught. But then, it didn't get better. The kisses turned into brief cheek taps, hugs into quick side squeezes, and the bedroom felt like a desert. I tried showing love. Cooking dinner, folding laundry, even running her bath some nights. But nothing seemed to reach her anymore. When I gently said, "I miss us," she'd offer a half-hearted smile and reply, "I'm just not in the mood lately. It's not you." That lately stretched into months. I wasn't asking for fireworks just to feel wanted, to feel like a man in my own home, but every attempt, every compliment, touch, or look was shut down. Once I organized a weekend trip to a lake cabin thinking fresh air might revive us. Stars overhead, fire crackling. I reached for her hand and she said, "Can you not? I just want to be left alone." Piece by piece, that rejection chipped away at me, leaving me small, unseen, a ghost in my own house. Yet I stayed. I hoped. I paid the bills, mowed the lawn, fixed the leaky sink, asked about her day. Then came the night that changed everything. A Thursday, ordinary, Claire curled on the couch watching true crime. I sat beside her and quietly asked if we could talk after the episode. She muted the TV, sighed, and said, "What is it now?" I told her, "I miss feeling close to you. I miss being us." She looked me dead in the eyes and said, "I have no desire for intimacy. Not with you. I don't feel that way anymore." Just like that, emotionless, as if stating the milk was out. My chest tightened, my mouth went dry. I stared, desperate for any flicker of warmth or care, but she turned back to the TV. In that silence, clarity struck. This wasn't about sex. It was about being unwanted, unappreciated, invisible. I had poured years of loyalty, effort, and presence into us, and all I received was distance. I stood, packed a gym bag, took my essentials, and left without a word. She didn't ask where I was going. I drove to my friend Mason's, slept on his couch, and simply said, "She doesn't want me. I'm done trying." It wasn't cinematic, no shouting, no rain, but quiet, empty, and painfully clear. I realized I had been trying to revive a love long dead. I was the only one still in the fight, and that wasn't love. That was slow emotional suicide. No one teaches you to leave a relationship where nothing dramatic happens, where neglect is silent, slow, invisible. I left not because I stopped loving her, but because she had stopped loving me long ago. That night, the first night alone under a new roof, the weight lifted. The air felt sharp, awake, like something inside had broken to make space. I tossed my bag into the truck, hands trembling, not from fear, but from a bitter peace. I wasn't running. I wasn't yelling. I was done. As I started the engine, a voice called behind me, "Ethan, wait!" I turned to see Kristen, Claire's best friend, jogging up. Flip-flops, pajama pants, oversized hoodie. She asked what was happening, concern etched across her tired face. I told her the truth. Claire had no desire to be close to me, so I left. Kristen paused, bit her cheek, then admitted something that hit me sideways. Claire had been speaking about me differently for months, saying I was too soft, always around, too emotional. I clenched my jaw but stayed silent. She revealed a night months ago when Claire admitted she missed guys with more edge, not jerks. Just someone who didn't make her feel guilty for avoiding closeness. It stung deeper than I expected, and Kristen, sensing my pain, gently touched my arm through the window. Silent support in the dark. I could feel the sting of Kristen's words, and yet there was a strange comfort in them. I know it hurts, she said softly, and I don't want to pile it on, but you need to know. You're not crazy. You're not asking for too much. You were just trying to be loved back. I exhaled, letting her words sink in. Why didn't you tell me sooner? I asked, my voice quiet. I wanted to, she admitted. I almost did a few times, but it's complicated. She's my friend, and I didn't know if you'd believe me. People don't like the messenger. I nodded. I couldn't blame her. Hearing it out loud, the truth I had felt but never had proof of, didn't make me angry. It made me sad. It confirmed that the rejection wasn't just in my head. Claire had stopped seeing me as her partner long ago. I was the guy who fixed things, paid bills, picked her up when her car broke down, but never the one she wanted. Kristen took a step back, her expression steady, raw. I'm not trying to insert myself, she said. I just didn't want you to leave thinking none of it made sense. It does make sense. She changed. She stopped seeing your worth, but that doesn't mean your worth disappeared. I stared at her, and for the first time, it was strange. She wasn't dramatic, wasn't crying. She was just human, real. You're the first person to say that, I murmured. She gave a tired smile. It's true. I've seen it for years. You always showed up, remembered her mom's birthday, planned things, stayed steady. Some people don't know what to do with steady until they lose it. Silence hung between us. A dog barked down the street, a porch light flicked on, and then Kristen said something I would remember for weeks. Don't let her coldness convince you that you don't have a heart of love. She just stopped appreciating what mattered. That's on her, not you. I nodded slowly, feeling a strange relief. Thanks, I said quietly. She looked down, then back up. If you need anything, even just someone to talk to, call me. I'm around. Then she walked back to her car without another word. I sat in my truck, no music, no phone, just silence. And for the first time in months, maybe years, I felt something return. Not pride, not confidence, but self-respect. Not about winning or revenge, not about who was right or wrong, but reclaiming the pieces of myself I had chipped away to keep peace in a one-sided relationship. That night, I didn't go to Mason's. I found a cheap Airbnb on the edge of town, just a bed, a tiny kitchen, and a quiet window. I cracked open a beer and simply existed. No accusations, no begging, no trying to fix what someone else had let rot. I didn't know what tomorrow would bring, but I knew I wasn't crawling back to someone who had already left emotionally. I didn't sleep much, not from heartbreak, not from tears. Those were long gone, but from Kristen's words spinning through my head. It wasn't just about what Claire had said to me, it was realizing I had been trying to resuscitate something publicly dead for a long time. I was the last to know. That humiliation cut deep. According to Kristen, my own wife had been quietly mocking me behind closed doors. There's no manual for that kind of pain. The next morning, I checked my phone. 3 messages from Claire, all accusing me of being dramatic. Dramatic? The woman had just told me she had zero desire for intimacy with me and that I was the dramatic one for leaving with dignity. I didn't reply. Around 10 a.m., Kristen texted, "Are you okay?" I stared at the message, then wrote, "Can we talk? I feel like there's more." She arrived 25 minutes later, same hoodie, hair tied up, coffee in hand. Exhausted, yes, but real. She didn't wait for me to prompt her. "You're right. There's more," she said. My stomach sank. "I think there's someone else," Kristen said carefully. I just nodded. I don't have solid proof, but her behavior, disappearing for hours, odd excuses, it doesn't sit right. A few weeks ago, she said she was walking to clear her head. I called to check, and there were voices. A man's voice. She said it was her brother, but he lives in Denver. Heat surged up my neck, cold, shaking anger that didn't explode, just hardened. Kristen continued, "She's been flirting with a guy from her gym, Derek. She said, and I quote, 'If I were single, he'd be in trouble.'" I sat stunned, silent. Not shocked, just confirmed. It all made sense. Loss of interest, constant shutdowns, casual dressing, locked phone, sudden girls' nights. I was a placeholder and Kristen was spelling it out. "You've been holding up a house she emotionally already moved out of," Kristen said softly. "You deserve to stop carrying her indifference." I let it settle, then asked the question that surprised even me. Did she ever talk about me like she loved me? Kristen shook her head. Dependable, predictable, useful. But love? Not anymore. I'm sorry. That was the final nail. It wasn't about another man. It was knowing I had become background noise to someone I would have taken a bullet for. Why are you telling me this? I asked. Because I hate seeing good people used, she said. You were good to her too. She didn't just neglect that. She mocked it. I stared out at the quiet street. I'm not going back. Good, she said. You're the only one who's been honest with me. We talked another hour, not just about Claire, but life, how people mistake comfort for love and discard it when it no longer excites them. Before Kristen left, she looked me in the eye. She'll spin it, make you the villain. Don't fall into the trap of defending yourself to people who weren't in your marriage. I watched her drive away, finally feeling no urge to call Claire for closure. I already had it. That night, I called a lawyer, canceled joint credit cards, moved half the savings to a private account. Not out of spite, but fairness. I left the rest. I blocked her number. 2 days later, she showed up at my Airbnb. I didn't answer. I watched her knock, then leave. I didn't need her script. I already knew it by heart. That night changed everything. Not heartbreak, but clarity, respect, and finally choosing myself after years of putting myself last. And oddly enough, I slept better than I had in years. A few weeks after the breakup, Ethan slowly started rebuilding his life. The wounds from the past were still there, but he no longer carried the heavy burden of unrequited love. One evening, he accepted an invitation from a friend to a local cafe, and that's where he met Damien. Damien was calm, kind, yet full of energy. A presence that made Ethan feel alive in a way he hadn't felt in years. Their eyes met, and in that instant, a spark ignited that Ethan thought he'd lost forever. They quickly started talking, deep conversations, genuine laughter, shared passions for travel and art. Ethan felt truly seen and heard, something he hadn't experienced in a long time. Damien showed him that intimacy and respect could coexist with excitement and discovery. As time went on, their connection deepened. Ethan realized that not only had his heart opened again, but the self-confidence and sense of worth he had lost over the years were returning. Damien wasn't just a romantic partner. He was someone who accepted Ethan completely, without conditions or compromise. Through this journey, Ethan learned that true love doesn't require constant proof of worth, doesn't demand staying with someone who doesn't want you, and doesn't ask you to tolerate neglect. Now he knew he could be with someone who truly saw him, listened to him, and loved him fully. This new relationship not only revived Ethan's heart, but opened a path to joy, trust, and personal growth he never thought possible.